Okay, welcome, Deviant Drivers. This is episode 2 of A Drink with the Driver. So, it's empty. There it is. Yeah.
So
We
tired.
got the Italian theme this week because this weekend we were in Italy, crashing Folgor's place for the entire weekend.
We're good. Continue. No worries. Don't worry about me.
And I am your host, Mercury. I am joined again by Junkai.
Hello.
And so again, welcome, Deviants. And we were in Italy all weekend. Yes. Cheers.
I just realized you had wine. So I just realized you had wine.
I do. I got to take these sunglasses off because I feel ridiculous. I can't.
What kind of wine is it, or is it Welch's grape juice?
No. It's a Lewis and Martini.
Oh, you say it so Italian.
Yes,
Martini.
You know, very, very Italian. Bertolli, Piccini, Alfredo, Paisan.
So my wife is Polish, and we've been together so long. She's been around my family so long, so everyone talks with their hands. She gets stuck. Like, she'll start talking, but her hand stops moving. And I'm like, "What are you doing with your hand?" And she's like, "Oh, I forgot to keep moving it." So, yeah. Polacks. No offense to anybody out there, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So, so this episode is dedicated to Italy, clearly, because we were in Italy this past weekend.
Yep.
For both races. Both races were very close, very interesting and entertaining, safe to say.
Yep.
The first one was GT3 Manufacturer World Series, which raced at Sardinia. So, you won that race.
I did.
Handily. But you're not leading in points, I don't believe.
No, not at all.
So so it's close, right? So I see that you won the race. Besso finished second.
Yep.
And Zen finished third.
Yep.
And currently the point standings is Besso first, you second, Zen third. So tell me a little bit about how your race went, what your strategy was, and what you felt about this weekend. In Italy.
Going into it, I wasn't as confident, and I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, you always say that," which, that's the reason. Yeah, I kind of do. It's my Zenism to get me pumped up, but I was concerned a little bit just because of how long the straight is, and the Porsche isn't great on top end. So I knew I was going to have to, beat people in the turns where I could. There's not a ton of turns. So I knew that was going to be part of my strategy. It's kind of how I ran Bathurst last season, was to get out front and stay out front, because I knew I wasn't going to be able to pass anybody on the straights. It was going to be passing someone with a either infraction or they mess up and then pull away just by going through the turn. So that was kind of my strategy. Pit strategy, I went a little unorthodox for myself and the team, and we ran 4 stints on soft. We ran 9 soft, 8 soft. I don't remember the rest, either 7 soft and 6 or 8 soft. Math doesn't check out right now tonight. But we pitted 3 times. We pitted 3 times, and the goal was to maximize the soft tires as much as possible and then get off them before they started to degrade too much. It worked, obviously. We took first place. I didn't have any real big mess ups, couple small little things here and there, but to me, it's not always being the fastest during the race. It's just been consistency. Who can stay on the track the longest, you know? I was proud of the other teammates. Floody had a great shot. He practiced. We all practiced about a week ago. Me, Slug, and Floody got on, and for about an hour, hour and a half, we ran around the track just giving each other pointers, trying to get our times down, and Floody got within like 2/10 of my fastest lap. And I mean, all race, you know, he was pretty much up there in third place. He held Besso off for a while, you know, so he did well as well.
How
So
much alcohol was he drinking?
you know, that's the thing about Floody is I think he started the race with a shot, and I sent him a bottle this morning because he needs to keep it up.
There
But
you
no,
go.
he had a really good race. Our pit strategy worked. We minimized our penalties, tried to minimize our incidents where we could. There was a few. Matter of fact, Floody and I got into a little fender bender, um, where Besso and I were taking a turn, and Floody came in pretty quick. You know, Porsche's good for that. So I was having to slow down because Besso's slow ass, and Floody caught me. So, but you know, I turned sideways actually, and he kind of powered through and fixed the accident. So it was good. But our strategy worked. I think a lot of it had to do with the strategy. Glovis, I was behind Glovis, and he pitted before me. I think by one lap, and I was under a second behind Glovis. And when we pitted on lap 26, being our last pit, I came out, I think 4 seconds ahead of Glovis out of the pits. So mathematically, somehow, either maybe he messed up, I don't know. But you know, it was a decent enough distance that I could, with clean air, just drive comfortably without having to push too much, you know, and that's really for me what minimizes the mistakes. So it was a good race though. I made sure I had plenty of fuel. I could go another 2 laps if I needed to. Unlike Catalunya last time, losing to Besso that way, God, that sucked. So I had plenty of fuel. I had enough fuel for 35 laps. I didn't think we would get to 35, but I did it anyway. I was not taking a chance on losing on fuel.
It's interesting that you say that because the strategy the entire weekend was around 34 to 35, and this was a debate that we had within Team Mercedes as well, was the fuel debate. And I got absolutely zero practice in this race prior to race day. As a matter of fact, I had to work on emergency call, so to speak, on Saturday, and so my normal practice day to develop these things totally went away.
Right.
And so my other teammates, Huge Jar and Chaotica, I totally 100% left strategy to them. And they had the spreadsheet, they had everything. And I was like, guys, just test it, do what you can, tell me what we got to do. But we were centered around 34 to 35. But in the back of my head, again, I was thinking from Catalonia, because the same thing happened, right?
Yeah.
And we never saw, I think it was 36. We never saw that coming. We never calculated for it. And then all of a sudden, you started lap 36. And I was like, so, okay, let's pad it one lap.
I definitely erred on the side of caution. I thought I would hit 34 laps. I did not think I would hit 35 laps. Not at all. I tested and hit 35 laps, and I did it without a safety car. So I knew 35 laps was possible. And I think that's how I'm going to practice just going forward. I didn't get an opportunity at Catalunya to run a full hour practice. Mathematically, I figured it out based on average lap times. But I think that's going to how I plan from now on is I'm going to take an hour, drive the track. How many laps do I get? And as long as they're consistent and clean, that's going to be my number. Even knowing that the safety car is involved and I'm going to save or lose some of that time, I can't lose the fuel again. Like,
well, and
Besso didn't
there's
beat
a
me.
lot to
Fuel beat me. I hope you heard
there's a,
that,
there's
Besso.
there's a lot to unpack with this, right? Because we've got a lot of new drivers in the
Yeah.
GT3 Sport category, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. But there and with next season coming along, safety cars and fuel strats are always a thing, but
Yep.
safety cars will become a thing. And so these drivers are going to have to learn and transition into some of them that
Yeah.
are in GT3 into how to fit this into a strategy and in what this looks like, right?
Right.
So I think that some of them are paying very close attention to what we're doing
Mm-hmm.
and how we're doing it.
Yep.
And they've definitely reached out to me. They probably reached out to you and others. But yeah, and look, the strategy worked out. Not
Mm-hmm.
great for me. Not a great day. I didn't have a lot of
Where'd
practice.
you finish?
I finished sixth, which
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is I didn't really tune my lap times in until the after a halfway point.
Yeah.
And then because then I was like consistent on track. I was like, okay, lap time started coming down. It was the
Yeah.
only track, and maybe the only track we have the whole season or any other seasons that you actually can run all softs.
Yeah. I don't think I could be wrong in saying this, and probably am wrong, but I don't remember a track where we've been able to run soft, 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 soft.
No.
It's always been soft, medium, soft at best. But I like I've told you so many different times, and my team is I do not run fuel races well. I lose every single time. Mathematically, it works in my head, but something always happens,
Yeah.
and I just need to push. So that's where we ran 4 stints on softs, 3 pits, and that was it. Gun ho and see how it happened. I knew, you know, safety car being lap 19, that nobody was going to be able to go from lap 19 to lap potentially 35 without pitting. And if they did, they were going to be horribly slow. And I wasn't worried about that. So I knew throwing in the extra pit would be fine. So, and that's what we did. So, and it worked out for the whole team. I mean, there was one point we were running 1, 2, and 4. Me, Floody, Slug. I can't remember who was in third, but over the course it unravels and whatnot. But it is what it is. I did watch your live stream, and let's talk about Glovis needs to post this in the Hall of Fame of how many cars can you pass by turn 1. You started in 11th place.
I did.
And I'll talk about my qualifying time in a second. But you started in 11th place, which is probably, if I had to guess, probably one of your worst qualifying races.
One of them, if not the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. But by turn 1, what place were you in? Tell everybody. What place were you in? You were in 11th.
I was in fifth or so.
You were 5th, not or so. It was 5th place, 11th to 5th. I was in 1st. You know what position I went through the first turn in? 3rd. Course sucks.
The Mercedes is, and
it's a beast.
It's a beast off the line.
Yeah,
it's massively torquey.
Yeah,
all the torque is down low. The car drives and digs from low end torque, just pure ass torque. Yeah. And in the high revs, you're not gaining much. As a matter of fact, all you're doing is burning fuel. So short shifting and conserving fuel is actually the benefit and strategy that you should use with the
because we never went more than 9 laps on soft. I think if I remember, you pitted on 12.
Correct.
On softs. So yeah, there's no way we were getting softs getting softs at 12 laps. There's no way. I was able to get 10 tops. And then she was getting a little bit on the squirrely side, and back right was pretty much gone at that point. I could squeeze 11 if I short shifted, but yeah, that wasn't
our strat was irrelevant to the safety car. We basically ran at 12
I saw that.
and 24, and that was it. took too much
Yeah.
fuel at the end. It did cost me points because it did cost me positions because I finished the race with 40% of fuel. I could have fueled much less.
Yeah.
But again, that was down to no practice, no anything.
Yeah.
We were skeptical and were wondering if the strategy actually was correct, that we even had calculated properly that you could run soft, soft, soft,
Yeah.
because that's never happened.
Yeah.
And so there was some question within us that I
Mm-hmm.
hope we've done the proper calculations and I hope everything is correct.
Yeah, we doubted it on our end. I'll say that. But screw it. We just went with it. And honestly, it was the luck of the safety car too. I don't think that strategy, my strategy would have worked with an earlier safety car or a later
Yeah, well,
safety
you
car.
drew safety cars, so therefore it was a better safety car. Besso always, the last couple times he drew safety car, it was the worst possible lap that you could get safety car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Besso, you don't get to pick safety car anymore.
You know what? He's done better with his pit strategy than that. Now. There was something happened between he and Fletty going into the pits, and I didn't download with them to find out what the heck that was, but they both went into
Okay.
pits at the same time. I think they both picked up penalties. I don't know exactly what happened, but Besso's been on the wrong end of pit stops more than once. Road Atlanta, he went in, and I don't think he picked tires or picked the wrong tires or something. All right, no, he did not pick tires. And then at Red Bull Ring, he stayed out like you did way too long, and the safety car was way too late. And he went into the pit so late, and he wasn't able to recover after that. So, but my qualifying this race about lost my mind. So we head out of the pits, right? Haven't even gotten control of the controller yet and pick up a 3-second penalty. And I got to hear from Kurosky of all people, "Oh, you got a 3-second penalty." I'm like, yes, I did. Thank you for that. You know, and the unfortunate part, where's the penalty zone? The straight, right? So my whole out lap wasted. Well, it's a waste anyway. But I get on the straight, 3-second penalty. Now I'm in all this traffic. My first qualifying lap is slow because I took a 3-second penalty, right? So I put in some garbage lap, which had me in 10th place. No offense to you in 11th.
Hey, you know what?
Right? So lap 3, right? I make it through the second lap. Lap 3, I'm going. I come around the last hairpin to Besso, pointed straight at me, and I just ram right into him. So lap 3, gone. Damage on, right? So I spend the rest of that lap trying to get the damage off. So that takes away third one. Fourth one, I finally get in a decent lap time, but at that point I was so aggravated. I messed that lap up. Anyway, I think I had 2 solid qualifying. Yes, I got on pole, thankfully. Like last lap.
Of course.
I'm surprised you didn't pass me though by turn 1, so shut up.
Well, and this is, you know, I mean, full disclosure, the Mercedes is strong off the line. Is it strong everywhere? No, not. It's
Yeah.
not. But off the line, that is definitely its strength.
I
It's
mean,
good
all
for
the
3 to 4 to
cars,
5 positions.
yeah, almost all the cars in the grid are strong on the starts. The Nissan is strong, the Ford is strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was tough. I mean, it's
So
always tough on that thing,
next weekend we go to Japan.
which I'm fine with because it's a short start.
We go to Kyoto, Yamagawa, and
Yep.
Miyagi. I'm probably butchering that
And we
road.
haven't done this before.
We have not. This is a
No.
brand new track for GT3.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a first for everybody. Nobody has any clue about it.
Yep.
Points are tight. Besso is leading by 1.
Yes.
Zen's
We're gonna
lagging a
fix
bit,
that.
but I mean, one win from Zen could put him rhymes. Would catapult him right up in there with you.
Mhm.
So there's only a couple more races left in the season. So
Agree.
this is going to be a pretty important race. Yes.
Yeah, I would say the next two are, I don't want to say my weakest, but I don't know them as well as the remaining or the rest of the tracks of what we've driven and what we're driving. Sardinia I knew well. Most everyone knows Sardinia well. Kyoto, like I've driven it, don't get me wrong. I do
Yeah.
like the track. I like the track a lot. Alsace, we know the track, but not at these speeds and with these cars. So that's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And then Fuji, I'm comfortable with Fuji. I like Fuji.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Fuji?
You don't
Really?
like Fuji.
Oh, no, I like Fuji. I don't like Suzuka.
Oh, that's what it was. Well, what's wrong with Suzuka? Yeah, I don't care for it either. It can't rain at Kyoto, right? I don't think
To
so.
my knowledge, no,
It can't rain at Osache. It can rain at Fuji though. So
it
we'll
can't.
see.
So we could have, yeah, we still have an opportunity for a rain race.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we'll see. Um, but
So
Kyoto is going to be important.
how did you think your race went?
Uh, and overall,
Mhm.
with absolutely zero prep, finishing sixth, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It was overall, it didn't go the way that I, of course, wanted. I didn't have any prep. Like I say, it took me the better half of the race to develop a
Yeah.
consistent line and find those break points and shift points. And so it was it was frustrating at the beginning.
Right.
Um, and I stuck to our strategy, even though at the time I was questioning whether we were accurate or not. It's
It's a
always
gamble.
it's a gamble.
Yeah. Not pitting on the safety lap is a gamble.
It is. And so I was gambling on something that I didn't know for sure. I wasn't sure of. We kind of put it together. I put my trust in Chaotica. The numbers matched and everything calculated where we looked on it on the spreadsheet correct. So, things looked right,
Yeah.
and it looked like it was all going to work. But it was implementing it, and it is what it is. And I knew my lap times weren't going to be anywhere near as fast as the
Yeah.
fastest drivers, and that was fine. Honestly, I was looking for a fourth to a sixth to walk away with anyway.
Right.
And had I not taken more fuel than I needed on the last stop, then I would have been out of the pits faster and potentially finished fifth. But you
Yeah.
know, life's a game of what ifs, and
Yep.
it is
Yeah.
what it
No,
is.
I only saw you after the safety car. Um, and I passed you going up the hill. And then after that, that was the last of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you got out in front and just you pulled away.
Mm-hmm.
So let's shift gears for a second and let's talk about the
Hey-o.
other Italian race that happened at Fogor's backyard. I mean, I think he hosted it. As a matter of fact, that's where I got this bottle of wine from. I stole it from him.
I went to the after party at his
Oh,
house.
you did the after party?
Yeah, I did, of course. Yeah.
He had some good stuff going on there,
Mhm.
I mean, so at Lake Major, and the results, and as tight as GT3 World is, it's even closer in GT3 Sport. These
Mhm.
guys, the top three, have been battling back and forth for pretty much the last three races. Soler, Folgor, and Berman, or Zanshin,
Mhm.
as he goes within the Discord. But the finishing order at Major was Soler, Folgor,
Nope.
bringing up second,
Yeah.
and
Right.
then Zanshin.
Yeah.
Their points are Folgor is now he had fastest lap,
Right.
which was important for him because that 1 point for fastest lap gave him the 1 point that he needed to be in the lead at 36.
It's close.
35 for Soler and 34 for Zanshin.
Yeah.
So between these three guys, we have a battle separated by 2 points.
Who's in
Each
fourth? Besso's in fourth, right?
Besso's in fourth. Yeah. Besso's in
Mhm.
fourth with 24. So it's it's it's
Yeah, it's
close,
close.
and they don't have, and they're going to Monza next week.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some fast drivers in there. There are some fast drivers in there. Booze, who's new, he jumped in. He was quick the other night. Bad Rock signed up day of. He got a little practice in, and
Yeah,
he finished well. I think he took fifth. So he did well. So there's some good drivers in there. I'm eager to get an opportunity to race with some of them for sure. They look clean. They look respectful. So it's gonna be fun.
there was a lot of racing that I observed between, especially the top three. Folgor, Soler, and
Hmm.
Zanshin were all back and forth throughout the day. Pit strategy slightly different. Um, I believe each of them had an opportunity to lead at
Yeah.
some point, and I was watching it back and forth, and then it was, it just changed positions quite a bit, but there was a
Right.
lot of clean passes. And, I'll say Soler, especially throughout the race, was extremely clean, extremely well planned, and very strategic in his passing of
Hmm.
especially lap drivers. He made the calls quickly, he made the calls early, and he communicated and set those passes up as to where they would happen.
Right.
And he did it over and over and over again so as to not slow his pace or cause any issues. Um, uh, Bogor, same thing.
Hmm.
They made calls quickly. Um, it was the communication between these guys, all of them, is phenomenal, and they're doing an excellent job with kind of blending into this because it's
Yeah.
very, very, very difficult, as you know,
Yeah.
to come in
No.
and start
So
doing
look
this.
at uh, off topic for a second. Looking at the two different leagues now, right?
Mhm.
So the GT3 Sport is rules and structure of pretty much how we started. Everyone's in their own car,
Right.
run for yourself, no safety cars whatsoever. Do you think a safety car would have changed the outcome?
I think it would have thrown a different curveball into
Yeah,
their strategies, because if you don't have a safety car or any uncertainty, then
right.
you have a very linear strategy. It's very easy to figure out and calculate
It
what your
is.
strategy is going to be. And
It is.
no doubt, these three top drivers will be in GT3. Yes, agreed.
We can't disclose that information. We don't know. We don't know.
Well, we assume based
Yeah.
upon their driving performance thus far that
Yeah.
they will.
Do you think, going back to the safety car, do you think the safety car is still valued in the league?
I think so.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
think this. I think
it's
it is an uncertainty and something you cannot plan for, and is something that incorporates what is real world,
yeah,
because safety cars, accidents, things outside your control always happen. And this is one of those things that you get absolutely zero prep on in
right.
GT3 world. And literally you quali and you're setting your quali up and you're done.
Yep.
And then now you find out what your safety car lap is going to be.
Right.
And, you know, it
Yep.
adds another dimension of planning that we do every weekend,
Yeah.
uh, which is much different from GT3 Sport. But I think,
I I still like it. I mean, I know packing everyone up together um, makes it difficult again, having everyone in a line.
yeah,
There was a little bit of issue on our safety car. Cars are riding so close together. Like I don't understand it. I can see packing up towards the start, the
yeah,
restart, but halfway through the lap, like you on someone's ass, like that doesn't make sense to me.
you don't need to
Coming
be.
coming from someone who was wrecked on a safety car once.
Yes, you you
So
you got to share the video.
yeah, we did share the video.
Yeah,
And there was a small accident in this one as well. So it is can be troublesome, but I think it has created what we wanted, which was tighter, closer finishes than what we had before. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, or there was many of people when we first started that you would end the race with a 30-second lead. I mean, I remember finishing Laguna with over 40 seconds ahead of the second place. Like, yeah, that's awesome. Pin in my hat, whatever, kudos. But I don't want to be out there running clean laps and just, I mean, I can do that in sport or,
well, to your point,
you know,
because what you end up with is, and in real GT3 racing or GT racing or just any racing in general, there's always a safety car, there's always an uncertainty, there's always
yep,
something that happens, and it bunches the group back up. And what you planned for, it's like,
yep,
what you make plans for, and then, it just goes out the window,
yeah.
and you
I
now have
wish,
to completely redo it.
yeah, I wish we could have stayed set up the way we wanted to, which was the active safety car, but no one would ever request one
No,
because they didn't want to be that driver to do so.
we went the
And then,
whole season.
right, and you didn't have anyone to verify or validate if one was truly necessary. So it never happened. I mean, we never had an impromptu safety car. We did in the last league that you and I were in,
Right.
but there's also a steward that watched. So that was different about that one. We just don't have anyone dedicated to that, nor do I think we should. I mean, I think it's working. Adding the 10 minutes from 50 to 60 minutes like we did this season. I mean, it's caused some havoc because now our window for safety cars is huge. This last one was
Yep.
lap 9 to lap 26. Like we only did 34 laps, so just an additional 8 past that. Of had it come up lap 26, I mean, you're talking 8 full laps. That's it to get to the finish based off everything you did before that. So, you know,
It changes the dynamic
it
completely,
does.
and
Yeah.
it takes what you think is going to happen and throws it right out the window at the most inopportune last minute possibility where it can. And that's what makes it difficult.
Yeah.
And that is where your team strategy has to be on point. You have to develop your strategy ahead of time, be
Hmm.
confident in it, and then that way when it comes up, you just say, "This is what we're doing."
Yeah.
It's not unlike a real race team
Yeah.
that anybody's doing, but
It is.
not, but another race. The thing is, the race team has 20 people back here calculating these things for you.
Yeah. It is funny though, like as we've continued to do this, this is our second season with a dedicated safety car.
Right.
Everyone's got their little own internal conversations going on over the party chat. I remember you saying Mercedes +1. Zen sounds like Peyton Manning. Chris got you're on purple. Glovis, you're on yellow. He's like Utah, 34, 34, 26. And I'm like, what is going on over there? You know,
Yeah.
but everyone's got their own strategy, and some are extremely good at building it. Just like most things in life, I try to keep it as simple as possible. And the hard part for some, I know on our team, one of the things we struggle with is Floody and I are on a steering wheel and Slug is on a controller. So Slug doesn't get the same tire wear that we do. I was able to go an additional lap as opposed to what Slug can do. Floody was similar to Slug because Floody jerks the wheel on everything. Again, he put some good laps down. So that part's a little hard to kind of stay consistent.
He's
And
a BMW owner.
oh, yeah, that's a different topic. He did send some good memes today. Did you see the one with the dumpster?
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny. You left your hood open. But that's been a challenge to us, is not everyone gets, even though we're driving the same car, our driving habits dictate what the car does. And Slug doesn't get the same tire wear that we do. He gets less.
Right.
Excuse me. He goes less laps, fewer laps. So it makes it difficult.
And that's a good point, is you have to develop your strategy. And next season, that's going to be important, because you have to develop your strategy based upon your team as a whole. Where's everybody's strengths? Where's everybody's weaknesses? Because the team points, your individual points matter for you and you're over here, but your team points matter, as the group.
Yeah.
And those captains will have to sort those things out. And so all of this is going to fit in. Whereas in GT3 Sport right now, it is more linear, like we started. You got this many minutes.
Yep.
This is what your lap time is. Figure it out and
just
run
go
as hard as you can go.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely easier times. But I like the challenge of what we're dealing with now. I love how it changes. I love how you can't anticipate how many damn laps you're going to have to do.
No.
So it's just, but it changes the whole thing. I mean, I would have had 2 wins in a row had I done the fuel properly. I just was so one-sided in my thinking and focused on something completely different than fuel. So I missed it. And it was a huge loss. I'm just glad I took second, because if everyone else had ended up on that lead lap that we were on, that I would have gone from first to like last. It would have been horrible. But lesson learned, lesson learned. So
it happens, right?
You see me out there, I'm not running a fuel race, I'll tell you that. I'm driving balls out.
there's and just full disclosure, the fuel race, using fuel trims and this type of thing, that has never worked for me. It's never worked for you.
Nope.
I don't know that it's ever worked for anyone.
Well, it worked. Yeah, it worked for Besso at Spa when he did a one-stop race. I didn't make it to that race. He did a one-stop race on soft as a mandatory, which was nuts.
Yeah. But we go with GT3 Sport. We go to Monza next week.
Yep.
And then after that, they go to Nürburgring, the GP circuit.
And then Suzuka. Yeah. Yeah, Monza will be fun. Monza's a fun track. I used to not care for Monza until I figured it out. Once I figured it out, then I got faster on it. But I'll say to everyone, test the penalty limits and cut your curbs. If you can cut your curbs without a penalty,
cut them.
Yep.
100%.
So that's going to help. That's what helped me. was once I got that down without picking up a penalty, I mean, I shaved tons of time off my overall time. So, but it's a risk. But if you do it right, it works. I had to upshift in the Mustang to not let it get loose. So I think I would end up in second or first gear and then upshift to third just to get stable.
So we're going to have a battle in GT3 Sport. We're going to have a battle in GT3 World because you guys, you and Besto are separated by 1 point.
Yeah.
Zen is slightly behind her at 60. But these guys in GT3 Sport are separated by a total of 2 points from first to third.
I don't think I'm not going to say who. I'm betting the top 3 does not win this next one. I think it's somebody else.
Are we talking about sport or world?
Sport.
World. Or sport? Sport?
Yeah. Out of Folgore, Soler, and Zanshin, I don't think one of those 3 wins.
That's a challenge, guys.
Now in GT3 World, I think it will be one of the top drivers. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, if somebody creeps in, because fourth is Besso and in GT3 Sport, and with a win, it catapults him directly right up into the mix. So,
yep,
you know, the points are there for, you know, they're up for grabs, and with 3 races to go, it's anybody's game.
No, it's for sure. So, who do you think out of GT3 World has the biggest potential that's yet to be seen?
You know, that's to be decided, right? I mean,
that's why I'm asking you. Answer the question. Who do you think has the potential who we haven't seen yet?
So I think Floody is for sure the driver if he drinks enough.
Which Floody? There's 2.
Well, yeah, I mean drunk Floody.
Yeah, sober Floody is a nice guy.
Sober Floody is I wouldn't trust him with my sport.
No, you do trust sober Floody. He's nice. He'll small talk you. You know, he's not aggressive. He'll get around the track. Drunk Floody, you don't know if he's going to show up for the race, but if he does,
well,
watch out.
Watch out. Yeah. And, you know, and look, he ran second through GT World. You know, he was there in second place.
I was so pumped. I'm sure you, I mean, I know you heard it. When we went into the pits for the first time, I was like, damn right, Floody, fucking get it.
Yeah. Oh, he did excellent job. He ran 1-2 behind you for the first whole stint, basically, I think, until you guys pitted. You know, he's got top fastest laps. He's gonna get a win. It's just a matter of time and how much he drinks before race day.
I'm telling you.
And so if he can down a 5th of vodka or whatever he drinks, and get blackout drunk enough,
yep,
give him a victory.
Yep. No, we're gonna hopefully we get some good practice in. I'm not gonna be able to practice this week at all, so I may end up similar to you with practicing very short leading up to the race. But you know, this is a course that I'm a little bit not confident in because I've driven it a lot, just because it's more geared towards the car as opposed to the last 2 races have not been geared towards the car. So, right. And I know we're doing well in it, but you know, we're using its strengths. So, it's worked. It definitely has worked.
Well, I think that Team Porsche is definitely leading by a big margin, 127.
Yeah, I think we pulled 34 points this last week.
Over Nissan. You
Yeah.
were 127 with Porsche. Nissan is 113. So
Yeah.
you've there's a bit of a gap.
A little bit.
And it's very close with Ford. Ford is
Mhm.
third at 111, so only 2 points separate Nissan from Ford.
Yep.
And then my team Mercedes at 97, and then Team Toyota, who's had
So
had the lead.
here's the other piece too. You saw where who Toyota picked up today, right?
That is another piece of information that, yes, just came to light today. Was not in my notes, but while you
Mm-hmm.
mention it, yes, exactly.
So
So
that's gonna play a part. I mean, he's driving. I drove the McLaren last season, and once I got used to it, that car is strong. It's strong in high speed turns, and that's what this track's about. So, I've watched
he's
Fulgore
driving
race.
Toyota.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. No, he's driving the McLaren in the other one. So, yeah, hopefully he sucks. Hopefully
Well,
he sucks.
well, Team Toyotas had a rough deal.
Yeah, for sure.
They surely have. Not for a lack of trying or performance. When
No.
you look at the
Mm.
drivers, they've just always they've been down a driver the entire year for assorted reasons, no fault of their own, no fault
Yeah,
of those
it's
other
fault of both
drivers.
of them. You shouldn't associate yourself with Ohioans. Nobody
Well,
wants to be on their
that,
team. And
that's
some,
fair too, right?
yeah.
So, Team Ohio.
Yeah, Team Ohio and their what's their chili
Ah,
concoction spaghetti potato meal?
yeah, I don't remember.
Oh crap.
They were very adamant about their
Street
chili.
what is it? Skyline chili. The wife came in with the assist.
Sky,
Skyline chili.
that's right. Like the R34 Skyline. Yeah, Skyline chili.
Yeah, no, there's
I've
no
never even seen
relationship
it.
between those.
Have you ever seen it?
I've eaten it, yeah. Yeah. I mean, again,
Uh,
you're adding pasta and chili over a potato, it's going to be okay, but when you add the pasta, my grandfather rolls over in his grave. Like, that's just horrible. But it's Ohio, so
Bulgor's in bed right now, but when he wakes up and watches this, will too.
hey, Anatole was cooking pasta in a crock pot earlier. Hey, he posted a picture of that. I was like, I'm gonna leave that alone. And then someone made a comment, maybe it was the Zen. Um, Make sure you chop them up before you put them in there. They hate that. And the biggest thing my grandfather was you never put olive oil in the water in the pasta when it's boiling. You never put oil in there. So many people put oil in it. And I would get my hand slapped with a wooden spoon. Don't do that.
Cooking tip of the day with Junkai,
On
who's
Italian Day, you don't put olive oil in
Italian
your
day, and
pasta
he's Italian.
while it's cooking. You can put olive oil on it afterwards. The only time you use a little bit of olive oil is lasagna pasta noodles. It's the only time. So they don't stick together.
Okay,
But if your complaint is I add oil because they stick together, it's because you're not stirring the damn pot. You gotta stir the pot.
there you go.
Simple. You put
Story.
oil on it, the sauce can't stick to it. It's a long story. We're not going to get into it. I'm out of my beer already.
See, now here we go. Well, if maybe next
Bippity
episode.
boppity.
All right, guys, join us next time, and we'll be discussing the results from Kyoto and from Monza from the two races. We'll see how that turns out. We will see who's in the lead, and we'll see which drivers rose and which ones fell from the leaderboard. if there's any changes involved. However, I think there will be. So we will see you next time on A Drink with a Driver. Hope you enjoyed your drink. Did you enjoy your drink?
It's empty, so
It's empty.
we're good.
All right, good. Fogor, I enjoyed your drink that I stole from your place. And so I will see all of you next time with A Drink with a Driver.
Night.